Here are some scenes from out of Belfast the other day. Shocking footage shows police pushing back protesters with riot vehicles in Belfast. And this is, I brought this up on the collab with Dankula, because it just looks fucking wild. Like, look at that. Just driving the cars that, like, that's more of like a closing in than what you even see with American cops and our rioters. Actually fucking, oh, there's a little tiny fire. Little baby fire. Some 28 days later shit, you know? Makes you think of Tiananmen. The left was trying so hard to, like, get their Tiananmen photo. Like, they had so many people trying to, like, stand in front of police lines to get good pics, man. It was insane. You don't need to stage photo ops if your protest is real. Calls for calm ahead of rival city hall rallies after West Belfast demonstration told... This is the Belfast I recognize. There have been calls for calm ahead of 2 rival rallies set to be held outside Belfast City Hall on Saturday. This was June 12th. AI-generated posters have been shared on various anti-immigration Facebook accounts promoting a Say No to Illegal Immigration protest at 1 p.m. The poster features both the Union flag and the Irish tricolour, along with the line, "All sides of communities are welcome to stand together and keep our country safe." One prominent account that has shared the poster is the official Protestant Coalition, which has been linked to the 2012/13 flag protests. A counter-demonstration organized by the Union Against Racism organization has also been planned for City Hall. All of these organizations have such subversive names, I literally can't tell who the good guys are. It's all so confusing. Meanwhile, an anti-racism rally took place on Friday in West Belfast at the International Peace Wall. Sinn Féin MP John Finucane said the gathering represented the Belfast he knew. Elsewhere, a fire engine was attacked by masked youths in Armagh on Friday evening, and then they just ask you to follow their live blog, which we won't do. Rupert Lowe commenting on what's going on. Rupert Lowe saying, "I want people finally held to account for what has been done to our country. Civil servants, judges, politicians. If they have knowingly placed unvetted, dangerous third world savages in our communities, near our children, then a Restore Britain government will aim to prosecute them. If that includes reforms Robert Jenrick and Suella Braverman, then so be it. When they held power, they welcomed that Sudanese monster into our country and handed him a visa. An attempted beheading followed their decision. Those responsible must be held to account. And I want to send a very clear message to officials planning to place more of these men in communities across Britain, near schools, nurseries, families. When Restore Britain wins the next election, we will pursue you with the full power of the state. That will apply retrospectively. If those in power are made to feel the consequences of their decisions, the quality of those decisions will improve." This is true, and this has been a huge fucking issue. Because it seems like the entire system is just stacked fucking against everyone who wants to hold people in power accountable for the actions and the decisions that they make. Actually fucking crazy. We are so far past half measures now, the country is too far gone. Britain needs a democratic revolution. This is exactly what Restore Britain is going to do. Not even the power of the law, the entire state, well said. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You hope Restore Britain wins? I really hope that they win a whole fuck ton, yes. Police service here. This is a police say head injury. This is the police service of Northern Ireland saying appeal for witnesses following serious Belfast assault. At approximately 2:15 a.m., police received a report of a man with a head injury in the Falls Road area whose injuries were consistent with an assault. And the flesh simulator dude said, you can have your head sawn off by a 70 IQ African rapist, and unless someone gets it on video, the police will report it as if you got a bit of a concussion and just sweep it under the rug. And it is really grotesque how this keeps happening. How the pieces of information and the places that are supposed to keep us informed actively do everything in their power to prevent more information from being disseminated to people. It is really, really fucking gross how they won't actually tell you what happened. And there's another gross video of some kind of politician basically complaining that people saw the video in the first place. At BBC over here proving Fleshman's point once again. The BBC saying, man taken to hospital with serious injuries after stabbing. They got community noted, thankfully. A video of the incident shows the attacker repeatedly slashing at the victim's head and neck, with bystanders shouting he was trying to cut his head off. You will never hate journalists enough. You think you might be capable of it, but there's always room for more hatred for journalists. You have a GB Politics posting a picture here, saying pictured protests break out in multiple locations across England and Scotland following the stabbing attack in Belfast, Northern Ireland. And these guys are holding a banner that says, Henry Novak, stabbed, handcuffed, bleeding, I can't breathe, white lives matter. Can't believe they put serious injuries in quotes. Yeah, it's really fucking gross how reporting on this has happened. 30-year-old man stabs 17-year-old girl in neck in Burnley, England. For all the rhetoric about rising above hate and divisive language, there's no compelling answer from the left about how to actually stop this. And as it continues to happen, the public will continue to move violently to the right. That is, very true. Very true. Like, why? For what? For what fucking purpose? And he's like bouncing, squaring up, like expecting a fight. Like, what the fuck? That's actually insane. British debuff at birth plus 75% attraction to sharp part of knives. Yeah, surely that's not an immigrant. Surely the knife just did that. By refusing to address this and abdicating responsibility, Labour ensures fascism is all but inevitable. I don't like that. Lecturing people on the immorality of racism doesn't change the established fact that across the entire civilized world, you can discriminate your way to safety and prosperity. He walk away like he did something impressive? Yeah, like what the fuck? That is incredibly fucked up. More footage of the suspect who stabbed the teen girl from Tommy Robinson. Footage shows the beast who stabbed the teenage girl in the throat being arrested in Burnley. Dude, this guy looks psychopathic. Like Cro-Magnon head shape, bruh. Before I spike my cortisol, what race is the attacker? Well, it's a knife attack in England, so, you know, pretty safe. They beat the fuck out of him. Not bad enough, though. Not bad enough if he's still alive, to be fair. 17-year-old being treated in hospital after being stabbed in the neck. Armed officers from Lancashire police were deployed to the scene in Briarfield near Nelson and arrested a 30-year-old man on suspicion of attempted murder. Force said it had been called to Wood Street at 15:06 following reports that a girl had been stabbed in the back of the neck. It is understood her injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. Oh, that's good. At least she's going to recover, but she shouldn't have been stabbed in the first place. That man should not have been there to stab her. A Force spokesperson said, "We know that this will cause alarm in the local community, and extra patrols will be in the area this evening to provide reassurance." Lancashire Police has urged anyone who may have witnessed the stabbing or may have CCTV or doorbell camera footage to come forward. These attacks are unprovoked. The girl wasn't being racist. She didn't gesture in his direction. These people just want to stab the native population. They want them dead, and the government is aiding them in this task. Is it not treason if elected officials are helping these criminals by covering for them, trying to hide their crimes, and sweeping everything under the rug? These are interesting questions that should really start being asked on a national stage. Backstory on the incident in Belfast where an African migrant tried to behead a native.
She used to babysit for him when he was younger. He's special needs, and he's hard of hearing.
Yeah.
And she said,
disabled.
Well, she said that she knows the family well, and she used to mind him. She said that wee lad has been living there, that young man, well, he's 47, she said, he's been living there for about 2 years. And she said them foreigners that moved in only moved in like 4 days ago.
Right.
And he was doing everything to help them out when they moved in. And it's not just one. There was 2 of them jumped him, but the news hasn't given it out yet. The 2 of them moved into the flat.
Wow.
And one of them was the one that was arrested. The other one hasn't been mentioned anywhere in the news yet.
But he was involved in the attack, allegedly.
This is what she said. This is why up in Rathcoole they're going ballistic, because the wee lad originally came from Rathcoole, and apparently he did everything to help them.
And do you think the authorities are trying to cover that kind of thing up? That there was a second?
The whole thing. They're trying to blanket everything that's going on today.
And the lad who was attacked was actually trying to help them move in.
He was helping them for the last couple of days. Apparently he's really kind, thoughtful wee lad, kind-hearted. That's what she said. She says, Margaret, he's the type of man he would have done anything for anybody. She says, so he has been going out of his way to help him. Now, the reports we're hearing now is his nose has been cut, his eyes out, and he's blind in the other. That he can't hear anybody. It's hard to hear him. What life does he got when he comes out of intensive care?
It's absolutely fucked up. Like, just zero excuse for what happened. I don't even know what could have possibly set the fucking migrant thing off. But, like, unacceptable to attack somebody like this, especially when they're fucking helping you. Like, what is wrong with you? Doing a good thing and your reward is that? It's kind of like a microcosm allegory for our societies at large, is it not? And here's Right Angle News Network saying, it's now been revealed that the Belfast man who was nearly beheaded by an African migrant, Stephen Ogilvie, was helping the same man who attacked him move in next door as a next door neighbor just 4 days before the attack. Belfast stabbing victim drugged and torched by gang leader at Livingston Flat in horrific attack. Stephen Ogilvie was attacked by David McLeave at the property in West Lothian in 2001. The victim of an alleged attempted beheading in Belfast was drugged and torched by an Ulster gang leader at a flat in Livingston. Stephen Ogilvie, who has links to Scotland, was attacked by David McLeave at the property in West Lothian in 2001. Mr. Ogilvie, 44, moved from Belfast to Scotland to live with McLeave, but was attacked by the drug dealer as he watched the TV. McLeave, who was 21 at the time, gave Mr. Ogilvie the date rape drug GBH, then stripped him, poured aftershave over him, and torched him. Hopefully that guy is buried under a prison somewhere, because what the fuck is wrong with you? Vulnerable Mr. Ogilvie, who is understood to have learning difficulties, later woke up to find his body on fire. The sickening ordeal was captured on video by his torturers, and he then fled back to Belfast. Look at this fucking creature. Fucking disgusting creature. McLeave was jailed for 14 years at the High Court in Edinburgh in April 2003. That does not seem like long enough. This guy is a drug dealer who set a mentally handicapped man on fucking fire. The fuck do you mean 14 years? What the hell? That is absolutely not long enough. His gangland accomplices, Paul Campbell. A Campbell? Fuck the Campbells. Then aged 20, Thomas Irvine, 21, Edward Lindsay, 23, and 21-year-old Lee Kingham were jailed for drug charges. On his return to Belfast, Mr. Ogilvie told the court how he feared for his life after he was bundled into a car by McLeave's associates Barry and Paul Campbell. Campbell's brother Barry was also jailed for 6 years for his involvement in abducting terrified Mr. Ogilvie and possessing a rifle without a license. Wait a minute, hold on. They abducted this guy too? What the fuck? At the time, Mr. Ogilvie told the court, I'm terrified and my nerves are shattered. Mr. Ogilvie is currently in hospital with serious injuries following a horrific knife attack on Belfast Kinnaird Avenue on Monday night. He remains in a serious condition in hospital and is being treated for severe injuries, including the loss of one of his eyes. Hadi Alodid, 30, has since appeared at Belfast Magistrates Court charged with attempted murder. Alodid, a Sudanese national, was also charged over threats to kill an NHS radiographer and possession of a knife. He refused legal representation and made no reply to charges which were put to him through an Arabic interpreter. Alodid, with an address at Duncairn Avenue in Belfast, was remanded in custody. Why is he even living there if he needs a fucking interpreter? What are we doing? Why is he there? It's understood Mr. Ogilvie knew his attacker and was trying to help him as he settled into a flat block they shared together in the city in Northern Ireland. On Tuesday, police disclosed further details regarding Alodid's immigration status and his journey to the UK. He crossed into Northern Ireland via the Irish border in February 2023, having flown into Dublin from Paris. Upon arrival, the suspect lodged an asylum claim and was subsequently granted leave to remain in the UK until 2028 in September of 2023. Investigators have confirmed there is no evidence to suggest Monday's stabbing incident had links to terrorism. Nope, just regular old racism. In a statement released via independent counselor Stafford Ward, Mr. Ogilvie's family said, "We are completely devastated by the horrific attack on our loved one on Kinnaird Avenue. This has been a massive shock to our whole family, and right now our only priority is being at his bedside and helping him recover." It's just like, who helped this migrant get to where he did? Right? Because, like, how is he passing through all of these other European nations and settling in this far-off place? Who is helping him get there? Rupert Lowe saying the Belfast victim has lost his left eye and has severe damage to his right eye, hacked at the neck with his eyes gouged. Men who inflict this brutal evil on others do not deserve to live. Yes. Yes, true. Someone saying 79 meters, which is 260 feet, that's the closest NGO to the attempted beheading site, which proudly airdrops migrants into Belfast with the intent to replace the local population. While the attackers in these cases must be handled appropriately, the traitors must also be acknowledged as well. Throughout the Western world, especially here in America, these organizations operate freely and without fear, actively working to bring hordes of violent criminals to our homeland. That's exactly what happens every time, and that's why we're fighting in the same exact issue that just kicked off a powder keg in Ireland. And that's why my tabs are interspersed with both of these cases. This is from some article someone posted, said, message received, we're leaving right now. Another man who was originally from India and now lives in North Belfast has decided to leave Northern Ireland after Tuesday night's violence. We're leaving right now, he told BBC News NI. The man, who doesn't want to be named, said he didn't sleep all night. It was horrible. It was like a war zone. Everything was burning, he said, adding that glass was smashed and everyone was hiding in their homes. No one was coming out. People were so scared. The man has lived in the UK for 25 years, the last 4 in Northern Ireland. Okay, well, what about the native people in Northern Ireland? Are they not entitled to feel safe in their own nation? What are we doing here? Why are we writing these kinds of articles being like, feel bad for all of these people coming here who probably shouldn't be here? You can go live in India. Yeah, they have a home country that they can go to. Northern Ireland is these people's home country, the native people in Northern Ireland. So it's like, why? Where do they have to flee to if they get displaced? Fucking nowhere. What are we doing? And this guy, Gerry Adams, I had no idea who he is, but he said last night's incident in Belfast is no excuse for tonight's racist attacks. Racists are exploiting mostly young people without thought for the consequences. People deserve better. Say no to racism. As you can see here, Clara saying, I may have blown up a bomb out front of a school in the 80s, but at least I'm not fucking racist. So I'm guessing from context clues, this is probably an older IRA guy who blew up a bomb in front of a school in the 80s. And now this guy who literally committed terrorist acts is trying to lecture you about racisms. Actual insanity. Leader of Sinn Féin, longtime IRA bomber. Thank you, chat. No to racism hits different if you're Polish. It's just kind of crazy to read. Like, what the fuck is happening? He has one point, though. Young people without thought for the consequences. I've seen a lot of people saying this. Now that things have kicked off, you cannot just stop halfway. Because if you do, you will be arrested and demonized and made an example of. Which is why they were also torching cars of streamers who were recording them. This is, don't do that kind of thing, because you're probably going to make yourself a target. You cannot put the genie back in the bottle. Never able to put a genie back in the bottle. This, wife guy, Comrade Snack, that's a cute fucking snack. That's kind of cute. He's got a commie flag, though. He said, it's kind of surreal the total victory Anglo shitlibbery has in Ireland. A man who ordered a widowed mother of 10 shot and kneecappers to cripple fellow Irishmen for the crime of Protestantism is telling them to not be heckin' mad about Sudanese migrants beheading people in the street. Bro. Fucking bro. It says, I wonder why Irish people are angry, and he quotes another post here that says the trial of an Algerian-born man accused of stabbing 3 children outside a Dublin Kirsche, I don't know what that is, has begun. The mother of the 5-year-old victim has described her injuries. It says she's currently in a wheelchair and she is non-verbal. She's learning how to swallow. Her nutrition is all through a tube in her stomach. We ask her yes or no questions and she blinks and gives us the best of her answers. She has to do double the work. She cannot go toilet by herself. She cannot reach for anything by herself. I cannot convince her to fall asleep. She has to take medicine to fall asleep. If she gets too excited, hot or constipated, and it's very severe, she has to be sedated. Why would anyone expect these people to just put up with it? Like, this is not the happy-go-lucky part and parcel of living in a large city. This is insanity. You should not have to live like that. It says, in Rathcoole, migrants are being evicted from their homes. Do you condemn this? Yes or no? And it's got a little French flag.
Some cunt's gonna have to get a taxi in the morning.
In the morning. I love their accents.
I would just go right into the paddy wagon a couple of times.
We may as well. You may as well make the most of it, like.
That's your car.
If their homes don't think they have, mate, yeah. Don't think they are, mate. It's just a peaceful, a fiery but mostly peaceful protest. D-list American rapper and singer Azaleia Banks posted this about Stephen Ogilvie, the victim of an attempted beheading in Belfast. Career suicide at its finest. Well, I mean, it would be career suicide if she was white and the guy attempted to getting beheaded was black, you know, but since it's the other way around, she gonna be fine, unfortunately. Azaleia Banks saying, sheesh, this motherfucker is so ugly, I think the Sudanese guy did him a favor. Wow, this motherfucker is ugly. What a weird thing to say about a guy who almost got his head cut off and is now blinded because of some demented freak. We had a Black Dumpling here with a crazy photo. I don't know if it's been AI enhanced or not, but it says, to the men of Northern Ireland, to the sons of Belfast, he who saves his country breaks no law. And hopefully this is just like a picture with a filter over it, because it looks, there's been a lot of crazy fucking images. And it's kind of interesting, right? You know, you have like the obscured background, a bunch of masked up hooded men, an arrow pointing towards the fucking fire and debris. We're kind of fucking crazy. You fucking kidding me? I wish people didn't see that video. The Minister of Northern Ireland blames Tommy Robinson and Elon for what happened last night. Yes, it's not your shitty policies bringing in people who keep killing your natives.
To my knowledge,
It's Elon's fault because people posted a video of a migrant attempting to behead a guy in your town. I can't remember if he's Scottish or Irish.
About the influence that he wields?
not to my knowledge. I haven't had a chance to speak to the PSNI this morning. Last night it was very fresh, it was very new, but they did advise me that CID would be looking into these threats.
He was an Irishman. I kept calling him an Irishman, and there were people who were like, actually, he's not Irish, he's Scottish, and it's just like, fuck, what?
And taking them very seriously, which has been a comfort, I have to say, but at the minute we don't know where they've originated from now.
And, you know, Monday night was horrific, and so many people saw that image. I wish people didn't see that image, but unfortunately...
What do you mean by this? You wish people didn't see that image? Don't you mean, I wish that attack didn't happen? Isn't that what you mean? Shouldn't you be apologizing for the attack, not the image that people saw of it? The fuck is wrong with you?
Many people did, but it was absolutely horrific. But there are bad actors that are jumping on this and actually using it to stir up hate and tension. And people who don't even know
hate and tension. Not something that a beheading would cause, obviously.
who we are. We're not a racist people here. People who don't even know...
The fact that you even need to say we're not a racist people here after an African migrant attempts to behead one of your countrymen is fucking crazy. Like, you shouldn't even feel compelled to say anything of the sort. The fuck is wrong with you?
We are on a map. But yet now we see the likes of the Elon Musks of this world, where we see the Tommy Robinsons of this world, the keyboard warriors who are sitting very comfy in their homes, orchestrating hate and tension and bringing this onto our streets and encouraging this onto our streets. So I think people need to be alert to that. Who's behind this? Like these protests that have been organised. Who's behind
this? The migrant that tried to behead the Irishman is behind this anger. The fuck do you mean, you dumb whore? This is again another video that proves women do not belong in positions of power. This is fucking insanity.
If they're that smart about their protests, why can they not put their face to it? Because they can't. Because these protests have been organised by faceless thugs, in my opinion.
She's insane. She's actually insane. This was the arrest that I kept referencing the other day. Belfast police, you're under arrest. Belfast lad, I don't think I am, mate. Hee 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 hee. I like how he's running past the Progressive Building Society as well. Like, there's been so many fucking good memes to come out of this. He runs into the sunset. Run free! Free range Irishman. They didn't pull the mask as soon as they got him. Morons! Well, you know, they're British police. You can't expect much. There was this tweet here that says, "This is possibly the saddest thing I've seen in a long time. An immigrant nurse talking about fleeing her home. She saved her uniform so she could still work for our communities. I'd fill this country with 1,000 of this woman than one of those good-for-nothing thugs. God help this poor woman."
I only got 3 things from the house. And the only thing I did not get from the house were the letters my children wrote for me. Because that is all I have from my children.
I have a question. How come you're in Ireland by yourself without your children? Couldn't you just go back to your home country and be with your children? Question mark?
The letters that they wrote for me 3 years back when I was leaving them back home.
Why did you leave them?
The only thing I didn't get, I only got my passport, my laptop, and my uniform because I have to go to work.
Can I really be able to stay here? Will I be safe because of what happened and the whole experience? So just know I'm scared.
And again, it's interesting that they keep running these. And we have the Zoomer historian guy here saying they didn't care when our girls were being raped and murdered on an industrial scale all across the country. Literally a rape pandemic was levied against Britain for over a decade. And he asks, why are we supposed to care about them? They can just leave and go to their home countries. We have nowhere to go. This is our home. And then again, I beg the question, if she has kids back in her home country, why did she leave them? If you are genuinely, like, fleeing from persecution and something you fear, you would not leave your children there. What is happening? And here's another one. A Dugannon, Northern Ireland, an immigrant mocking the race hate attack of one of our own. This doctor looks really scared. I wonder what the left will excuse this with.
Anybody, look, she did it again, she did it again. Look, look, look. Oh my god. You get over here now. Oh my god, Evie, get over here. Oh my god. She's down on the ground. Look.
Like, why? Why would anyone feel bad for you if you're doing something like that? Zoomer said, next time you feel sorry for these people when they're being chased out of town, just remember, they think our people being beheaded is funny. Fuck them, get out. If you immigrate to a nation and they accept you and they provide for you, why would you mock those people when they are murdered? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And this is the Ugandan nurse video that we watched a second ago. This other person quoting the video saying, can I really be able to stay here? Will I be safe? And they said, I'm leaving London, the capital city of my own country, partly because I have to dodge violent Africans who lunge at me nearly every time I leave my house. It's an almost daily occurrence and has a huge impact on my life. The only reason I've escaped so far is luck. I don't mean to sound callous, but where are the sympathy pieces for British women who are harassed and harmed by African men? Why does mainstream media only care when the victims aren't white? There's no shortage of British women whose lives have been destroyed by violent immigrants. Many British women are asking themselves, can I really stay here? Will I be safe? But we can't flee to our home country because this is the only home we have. And she's completely right. Like, why is it considered part and parcel and you should just put up with it when white people are getting attacked, but then sympathy pieces are run ad nauseum when the victim is not white? Should it not have an equal treatment, you know? And they said, this was really an omen, and this is from 2024. Blood-covered household cavalry horses run loose through central London. A serviceman was also injured near Buckingham Palace as police and medics cordon off the area. I remember pulling this up on stream when it happened, but I did not remember it until this picture was posted. I had completely forgotten that even happened. Kind of crazy. And then this one, police officers reveal why they had to kill a rare white stag roaming residential streets. I'm proud of all my officers involved in this difficult and challenging incident. I don't know why they would have to kill it. And this guy explains, one of the things a white stag symbolizes in English tradition is legitimacy and sovereignty. So when agents of the crown slay one, that's pretty on the nose as an omen. But night was falling and it was distressed. Yeah, that's even more on the nose. And then they said, I hadn't even considered the horses in London were household cavalry, beasts of the crown. That adds even more symbolism. And then the clock stopped. Apparently Big Ben stopped that night that the bloody horses were running around, giving us a chance to reflect, to turn back, and then we plunged forward anyway. Edward the Confessor had a prophecy relating to the English. The green tree that springs from the trunk from whence it shall be severed and removed to a distance of 3 furlongs shall by no engine or hand of man be returned to its root, and then you will have a verdure. I don't know what that means, but man, sometimes real life symbolism does go hard. This is all very theater, kid. Yeah, but you know, it's interesting to look at things like this. Aesthetica here saying, for my American friends, mistaking the Ulster Scots or Scots-Irish patriots in Northern Ireland for the communists in the IRA is like mistaking ICE agents for Antifa. The IRA are pro-immigration communists who want Northern Ireland invaded by the Third World. If they do anything other than sit on their asses, it will be to help the migrants. This doesn't mean that all Irish Catholic Republicans are like this. I'm sure there are some patriots like the ICA helping out, but giving credit to the IRA is fucking retarded. It's good Scot-Irish lads that you want to thank. And then he says, it's candy asses like this that you're congratulating when you do this, and he quote tweeted someone saying, it should be noted all the Irish parts of Belfast remain quiet and calm, and our new communities are safe and sound. All the trouble, as usual, is in the areas of Belfast populated by Scottish-British immigrant planters, whose ancestors invaded Ireland and stole our land. Now that's interesting that this guy can talk about the Scots and the British invading Ireland, but not the other people currently doing so. That's interesting. He said, this post does a good job of explaining how the IRA went from bombing cars to expel the British to advocating for millions of third world migrants. Their nationalism came from oppression, not patriotism. They believe they have more in common with the third world savages than they do with their neighbors. They need to be inundated with those we are more alike than previously thought. At least the Scottish British have the bottle to do something about it. They should fuck off back to Scotland and Britain where they belong. Same for all the Africans. Some of my family are from Africa. They have married into our family, and racist wanks like you won't frighten them out. See, again, this is weird cognitive dissonance. Like, how are you mad at the British for what happened, but you're not mad at the current state of affairs? Belfast, a darker phase may be emerging. Warnings are reportedly being circulated in parts of Northern Ireland telling landlords not to house migrants or risk becoming targets themselves. After the attacks, fires, and destruction already witnessed in Belfast, the message being implied is difficult to miss. Some property owners may now fear that accommodation associated with migrant housing could become the focus of further attacks. So you're saying what they're doing is working? That's kind of a strange message to put out. The message of the Floyd riots was violence works. I fucking guess so. Andy Nyo also putting out informational tweet here saying, a lot of people are unaware of the sectarian nature of the anti-migrant rioting in Northern Ireland. Those who have shown up to the riot have mostly been teens and young men from Protestant, pro-monarchy backgrounds. Catholic, small r Republican Northern Irish have not mobilized in sizable numbers. Irish republicanism, through groups like Sinn Féin, has long allied itself with militant movements in the Third World. You can see it today through their murals in Catholic areas, which emphasize solidarity with Muslim, Arab, Latin American, and Black migrants. In Northern Ireland, it has been Protestant Unionists who are most vocal against mass migration into the UK. They sometimes even burn migrant boat effigies in their bonfire traditions. And if anybody has a video of that, I would love to see it, because that sounds fucking insane. Like, that doesn't sound like something that actually happened. So if there is video of this, I would be very interested. That's fucking huge! Like, look at a person standing next to it. Where did they even get so many pallets? How did they build it so tall? That's insane. And this is, I guess, a picture of Andy Nyo in somewhere in Ireland, maybe? But, you have a mural here long tail so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, the Flower Massacre, 29/2/24. Solidarity, prisoner of war.
I get why people used to believe in prophecy, because if the symbols of your nation keep getting desecrated, something has gone wrong. Either they can't prevent it or nobody cares. Either way, a sign of very poor health.
Yeah. Very true and real. Thank you, Toast Engineer. Thank you, thank you. Note the Irish kid isn't the focus. Yeah, that is kind of weird that this is a mural in Ireland and then the Irish kid isn't the focus. I mean, the Middle Easterner in the middle is wearing Irish colors, I guess, but... To Americans, and to the island of Ireland, here are some very basic fundamentals to hopefully help better understand current events and the discourse around them. Firstly, to my fellow Americans, I understand why we think everything cool that happens in Ireland is the IRA, but in fact, the IRA has been a Marxist communist organization since 1969. Even the traditionalist faction that splintered off, the Provisional IRA, eventually went left. There exists no meaningful standing IRA as Americans classically think of it. What was the Provisional IRA exists now as the political party of Sinn Féin, a leftist pro-immigration party that boils down to Brits out, third world in. It would take an eternity to articulate just how factionalized Ireland is, so I won't even attempt to do so. But in the simplest terms, the action we currently see happening in Belfast is being carried out by loyalists, pro-British, not Republicans, Irish nationalists. Also, to the drive-by commenter slobs who think the current street action in Belfast is random chaos akin to the BLM in America, you are too stupid to ever comprehend just how stupid you truly are. What a great fucking sentence. The actions in Belfast reflects deliberate planning, mobilization, and tactical execution. They're not looting Nikes and twerking. The fact that you can't tell the difference is why you should never reply on the internet again. But you will, of course, because your stupidity is rivaled only by your low impulse control. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but he is popping off. Holy shit. And now, to the island of Ireland, I understand why you wish we'd all just shut up about everything, but try to receive the love and support that's on offer, despite the boisterous ignorance it's often wrapped in. Americans generally love Ireland and the Irish people, and that's not just among the tens of millions of Irish descendants here, but broadly. The support for the current Belfast action from those on the American right comes largely from those unaware that the action is being carried out by loyalists, and many among those who wouldn't know what loyalist means. Those on the American right would typically support traditional Irish republicanism. Current events, of course, are not loyalist versus Republican, so the differentiation is less meaningful in this particular instance, but it's understandable why either side would be annoyed by the seeming incoherence. And it's like, that's why I like reading this, because it's like, yeah, I had no idea. I just would have assumed, like, oh, the IRA, Irish nationalist, it makes sense that they're the ones doing the rioting. So it's nice to get, like, the correction and the information behind it, you know? This isn't to say, though, that the support for the current action would be any less if the socio-political landscape there was more fully understood. From this side of the ocean, it's quite simple. Those offering support simply see extended cousins taking action against third world invasion. Among right-wingers, nationalists, and the racially aware, we root for any manifestation of these things when seen anywhere across Western civilization. And with the massive Irish diaspora that exists here, we do superimpose a romanticized version of Ireland and the IRA from a bygone era as though it never went away. Many of us are the children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren of Irish Americans that materially supported the IRA. We grew up on Irish rebel music, tales from the old country. Irishness was instilled into our identity. Even more so, I would wager. I don't know where this Daniel Concannon guy lives, but if you grew up in, like, any kind of North Shore or South Boston area Massachusetts, it was heavily, like, Irish and Italian around here. So you got a lot of exposure to, like, the Americans who were either born from Irish immigrants or came directly here from Ireland. Red right-hand guys are the loyalist, right? I don't know what that means. However cartoonish the various manifestations of our pro-Irishness may seem to you, they're authentically felt by us. But few keep up with any current events, let alone those in Ireland, and thus revert to the aforementioned superimposition of what was, not what is, when Ireland appears in the feed. At the end of the day, we are an incoherent monstrosity of a short attention span consumer country with a two-party red versus blue political system. Complexity, nuance, detail, these aren't our specialties. I would say that that's not exactly correct. It's just that European political parties, like, you guys have like a million of them, and not in any American's wildest dreams would we associate like a Republican with communists. And so when we're told that like the Republican Party in somewhere like Ireland or the UK or Germany are actually far left communist, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I've even brought this up when I'm trying to talk about like a political party in a European country before, where I've just been like, yeah, they have like a backwards scale where like their Republicans are somehow the left and like their left is like the right or some shit. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. With that established, I once again beseech you to receive the well-intentioned support without resentment. Okay, with some resentment. So long as it's still received. All else aside, we simply like what we see and we support it, even if much of that support is expressed incongruously. Finally, universally speaking, I think it's worth remembering that Republican, loyalist, or anything else, the people of Ireland have some of the freshest memories of violence among the world's white population. And as we've seen in recent years, many in the Republic and many in the North are ready, willing, and able to burn shit to the ground. Everyone wonders when and where it will finally ignite. I can't say as to when exactly, but Ireland as to where would come as no surprise. Monarchy means having a king and queen. There's no way that there's people who are asking that. More information. Belfast migrant stabbing victim Stephen Ogilvie. It's understood today that doctors have now placed him in an induced coma, and this was the 11th. He was tragically lost his left eye and socket, with surgeons operating twice to rebuild his nose and save his right eye, which he might still lose. Surgeons also had to frantically intervene to rescue his throat and neck, medics now focusing on reducing swelling to his face. It says, there was an update on Stephen Ogilvie, the man who survived a horrific attack from an immigrant in Belfast. Doctors said it was looking good and he was a fighter. They tried to bring him out of the coma, but he didn't do so well, so they had to induce him again. They're going to try and take him out gradually to see how it goes. His throat had to be stapled from one side to the other, and he's lost his left eye and socket completely. He had 2 surgeries yesterday to rebuild his nose. The doctors are now focusing on the swelling in his face. Keep praying for him and his family. 2 days ago, during all the Belfast stuff, asylum seeker who raped woman 18 jailed. An asylum seeker who raped a particularly vulnerable 18-year-old woman in a park in Nottinghamshire has been jailed for 10 years. Sherez Malik attacked his victim in Sutton Lawn Park in Sutton in Ashfield on the 29th of June last year, shortly after she was raped by another man Malik was with, who is yet to be identified. Why has he yet to be identified? It's been a year, buddy. The 28-year-old, previously of Bath Street and Sutton in Ashfield, had claimed the sex was consensual, but was found guilty of 2 counts of rape by a jury at Birmingham Crown Court in January. I think this is how you know shit is popping off in England. They're actually giving out jail sentences to rapist migrants at this point, instead of just saying, good job raping those white kids, get the fuck out of my courtroom. On Thursday, Malik was given a sentence of 10 years in custody plus 4 years on extended license. 10 years for a migrant? Man, I would say that's not enough, but holy shit, the UK, they're actually doing something. Too little, too late, you know? Judge Simon Ash KC sentencing said Malik attacked the particularly vulnerable woman despite knowing she was very drunk and had been left alone in a park at night with men she did not know, adding that the defendant called her a slut repeatedly after the attack. It feels very jarring, like reading common sense from any kind of European judge at this point in time. Because like, if this had been 5 years ago, I would have expected them to be like, well, she was very drunk, and that's just normal in your culture, so you're free to go, sir. I was like, oh my god, common sense is coming back? Holy shit. When she tried to resist, you hit her hard to the face and head, he said. Some of the things you said to her did amount to additional degradation and humiliation of her. The trial had heard Malik is an asylum seeker who was born in Pakistan and lived in France, Germany, and Italy before coming to the UK. This is an economic migrant. You should either execute him for rape or deport him immediately. Those are your options. A reporting restriction was put in place in Nottingham Crown Court in September last year, preventing any mention of the defendant's immigration status until the trial had concluded. Fucking stupid. The court heard Malik arrived in the UK less than 12 months before the attack, and the sentencing hearing was told his case had not yet been considered. Malik's trial heard the woman had been drinking at the park with a male friend and was drunk when she met Malik and a group of other men she did not know. So, did that male friend, like, watch her get raped? Like, where the fuck did that guy go? Her friend, the court was told, asked Malik and his associates to look after the woman while he went to meet another friend. And when one of the group took the woman to an isolated part of the park so she could go to the toilet, he raped her. I'm unsure if her friend literally set this up. Like, literally told them, hey, I'm gonna get her drunk at a park. You can come rape her after I leave. Because there's no way that he was just like, I'm gonna leave you in the park with a bunch of rapey migrants who are known for raping people. Bye. Like, there's no way he's that dumb. He's gotta be a part of it, man. There's no fucking way. Or he's a white empathetic friend who has empathy for migrants. He is just as good as facilitating her rape. It's either intentional malice or malicious incompetence. Either way, that's no friend. I would never be able to look at that friend in the face again. Absolutely fucking not. Prosecution counsel Nicholas Corsellis KC previously told the court the defendant then decided he wished to have sex with her and took his turn to take her to a secluded spot, where he physically struck her while raping her. During his trial, the court heard Malik had said he was playing cricket with other men and smoking cannabis in the park before the attack, and denied hitting the woman. A victim impact statement was read out in court during the sentencing hearing, where the woman said she often struggled to eat and sleep and kept having nightmares about the attack. She said she had suffered anxiety and stress as a result of her assault and was worried about the impact of giving evidence again if the second suspect was found and charged. Part of the statement said, I find myself struggling to cope. I keep having nightmares about the incident and the medical examination after it. When imposing an extended sentence, the judge said Malik posed a significant risk to the public and had neither shown remorse nor taken responsibility for the assault. He also said a pre-sentence report found the defendant displayed distorted thinking by him in relation to consent, personal entitlement, and the objectification of women. Rather than feeling empathy towards the victim, you appear to feel only hostility and anger towards her. Last year, protests took place in Sutton and Ashfield following the attack, which had been discussed on social media by Lee Anderson, Reform UK MP for Ashfield. The politician highlighted Malik's background on his Facebook and X accounts, leading to protesters demanding tighter rules on immigration, which were also met with counter-protests. Every time these, protests or counter-protests pop up in favor of the migrants, it always just blows my mind, because it's like, you're the same people who complain about rape and rape statistics and then turn around and protect the rapists. Actual, unironically brainwashed plants with no self-preservation instincts. Not even actually functioning brains. Following Malik's sentencing, Nottinghamshire Police said it was still searching for a second suspect in connection with the case. Detective Inspector Nicole Milner said this remains a complex and demanding investigation, one that continues to be a priority for officers as we pursue our inquiries to locate and arrest a further suspect. Above all, my thoughts are with the victim, whose courage, resilience, and bravery have been evident throughout both the investigation and the criminal justice process. Anyone who can smoke the peace leaf and still do something so heinous is not a human, that's an animal. I was just thinking, how the fuck do you smoke weed and then get violent after? What the fuck? What the actual hell is wrong with your brain makeup? I'd rather be a rapist than a racist. The modern left. Thanks, I hate it. My friend just created a website that tracks every single immigration NGO in the West with their funding numbers, phone numbers, names, and addresses. The website is asylum.ngo. He has some screenshots here that says, an open, searchable catalog of the organizations across the US, Europe, Australia, and Canada that help refugees, asylum seekers, and immigrants in one way or another. Government funding to immigration NGOs, cumulative, it's $51,769,852,653 across 5 countries with data and counting. And then it shows you a little bit of the database here. So that's interesting if for any reason you would want to know where NGOs are para-dropping migrants into your neighborhoods. I asked him to show the ethnicity of the directors, but issues that many of them don't show that data, so scraping data is difficult. That would have also been interesting. Whites are so bad at tribalism, you can't even unite the right because we keep holding each other accountable so hard. Not just that, but like the entire Unite the Right thing was also funded by the left in hopes to get some more right-wing terrorisms. How Shadowy unit of government thought police, set up by ex-MI6 agent, is trying to keep a lid on Britain's simmering racial tensions. While the streets of Belfast were ablaze with anti-immigration protests last week, behind the scenes, a group of spies, spinners, and soldiers were deploying the dark arts to try to diffuse tensions. The name of the secret government propaganda unit trying to manipulate events makes it sound like an innocuous back-office operation. The Research, Information, and Communications Unit, or RICU. But the dull moniker is part of the deliberate camouflage of an outfit which uses deception and skullduggery to try and manage the challenges of multiculturalism. Its techniques range from planting stories in the media, using undercover operatives to lay flowers at the scene of terrorist attacks, and even, in one case, sending a pop group to sing anti-extremist songs in Muslim schools. The 22-strong unit was established in 2007 by the late Charles Farr, a former MI6 officer, as part of the Prevent Counterterrorism strategy. Modeled on the Information Research Department, IRD, a propaganda unit established by the Attlee government in 1948 to blacken the names of communists and other political opponents. RICU operates out of the Home Office's Westminster headquarters. That's kind of... I don't know anything about the Information Research Department or what Attlee government is, but like blackening the names of communists based and patriotic? What are we doing here? It's really funny that the current iteration of this office actually attacks, like, the natives of the country instead of going after communists. I'm sorry, what the fuck is even that? If you have to use skullduggery to help with something, it's clear that something is not good. While its original purpose was to monitor and challenge the spread of Al-Qaeda propaganda, I doubt it, and to vet the language used by public officials when describing terrorism, its tentacles now stretch far across Whitehall, to the extent that critics say it risks strangling free speech. When the mobs took to the streets of Northern Ireland last week following the stabbing of Stephen Ogilvie, allegedly by Hadi Al-Udeid, a 30-year-old Sudanese asylum seeker, RICU swung into action to advise the police in the province on how to control the narrative. A source said they are working with Police Service of Northern Ireland's C3 intelligence unit to identify those posting the online calls to protest in Belfast and other areas, as well as giving strategic messages to the police to ensure that the protesters were portrayed as unsympathetic thugs rather than activists and affecting behavioral change. Once again, if this is the way that the people of Belfast are deciding to go, there can be no half measures. Your government will find you and will make an example of you if you do not get rid of your government first. Allegedly, right? Right? The source said that the unit also had been advising the police in Southampton following the horrific murder of Henry Novak by Vikram Digwa, who falsely claimed he had been racially abused and had acted in self-defense. Saying RICU made sure that the liaison team was with the family were well briefed. Wait, this isn't the Nudge unit? That's the Behavioral Insights team, isn't it? Yeah, this is different from the Nudge unit, I guess. It's got a different name. It's got a different name. So you guys, I guess, have like multiple shadowy organizations trying to control the narrative, man. Little fucking crazy. Hey, Ma, they're lowering the Darwin Award survivability bar again, man. It also has been claimed that the unit intervenes to write statements by the families of victims of potentially racially linked incidents to stop them from inflaming tensions further with their remarks. We must continue to let foreign hordes murder and rape our wives and daughters and kill our men. The source said you can see their fingerprints all over the statements released by the victims of families in these volatile situations. They usually have a similar tone. However, RICU is regarded by many Whitehall insiders to be out of control, after last year putting its name to a Home Office recommendation that the police should record more non-crime hate incidents. The controversial sub-criminal measures used to inhibit people from making reference to matters of race, religion, sexual orientation, or disability. Ministers finally bowed to pressure by scrapping the measures, telling the police to stop recording everyday rows and online spats. The unit also claimed that the prevalence of sexual grooming gangs in Pakistani communities was being exploited by the far right to stir up hatred against Muslim communities. The far right doesn't have to do anything if people can see objective reality with their eyes. Looking at objective reality and describing objective reality as you see it is not far right. That is just living. That is just being alive. It has a long history of covertly engineering, in the words of one expert, the thoughts of people at times of crisis, being quick to spring into action after terrorist incidents such as the London Bridge attacks in 2017. 8 people died when a van was driven into pedestrians on London Bridge, and the 3 occupants ran to a nearby market and began stabbing people. In the immediate aftermath of the atrocity, Riku's undercover operatives handed out flowers in the area, with the aim of perpetuating an atmosphere of grief rather than anti-Muslim anger. A team in an unmarked van is also understood to have toured the area, plastering the walls with posters bearing hashtags such as #TurnToLove, #ForLondon, and #LoveWillWin. This is like something I would expect in like a side story in fucking Atomic Heart. This is crazy. Similarly, after the British aid worker Alan Henning was decapitated by the Islamic State in Syria in 2014, Riku used a specially created front operation to plant an image of a woman in a Union Jack hijab in the media. You are not angry enough about how much your government hates you and wants to see you fucking die. This is ridiculous, and I don't even know what to say about it, man. What the fuck? What the fuck? And in one particularly bizarre case, the unit secretly funded a boy band in 2016 to tour Muslim areas of Britain to sing songs with anti-radicalization themes. The British-American pop trio known as Mr. Meaner visited schools in Sheffield, Manchester, and Runcorn. I've never even heard of that band. They included Parswood High School in Manchester, where a former student was revealed to have traveled to Syria. Among the songs sung by the group were Think About It, which includes references to the 9/11 terror attacks in New York in 2001 and the 7/7 bombings in London in 2005. What? What the fuck? It includes the lyrics, see these hashtags at night, turn the TV on and something else ain't right. More people gone, don't know how we sleep at night. What I'm hoping is we can lead a precious life. 9/11 changes how we view these things people want to terrorize, and 7/7 left behind more broken lives right before our eyes. Think about it, okay? In June 2017, Darren Osborne, a recent convert to far-right ideology, drove a white van into a crowd of pedestrians close to Finsbury Park Mosque in North London, killing 1 person and injuring 10. Reports at the time said that Osborne had been held down and beaten by people at the scene until an imam appealed to them to stop. It later emerged that the reports about the peacemaking imam had originated after journalists were approached at the police cordon by a woman called Gabby, who said she worked for a company called Horizon PR, and offered to introduce them to a third party who stressed to the journalists the role that the mosque's imam had played in protecting Osborne until he could be handed over to police. Don't pay attention that this is the exact same thing that they do. We're gonna make up an imam that isn't real so that you feel bad.
That motherfucker back there is not real!
Manufactured pop bands are nothing new. A military intelligence boy band is not a surprise. It's just crazy to like see them admit it outright though, you know? Even Hawkenfreres, thank you. But Kirsche, you've been told multiple times that reality is right-wing propaganda. You wish your sarcasm above extended to it happening and not just how dumb it is that people you care about believe it. I don't know. I don't know how the propaganda has worked so well that people genuinely reject facts when they are shown them. It doesn't make sense. The story was the work of an agency called Breakthrough Media, which has been paid by Riku. The unit's fingerprints were also all over the hashtag We Stand Together, which appeared on Twitter afterwards and was shared by prominent politicians, police commanders, and the London Fire Brigade. So many people fucking posting this hashtag on Twitter. I remember that. They all got fucking government psyoped, dude. That's crazy. That's insane. Riku frequently uses social media in this way to infiltrate online conversations in target communities. However, according to Sir William Shawcross, who published a review of Prevent in 2023, the unit seems more keen to target the far right than extreme Islamists. Prevent of, that purple girl, I forget her name. That purple girl in that supposed radicalization fucking brochure that was just funny instead. Amelia, my beloved. That was a weird ass fucking game. Sir William wrote, the bar for what Riku includes on Islamism looks to be relatively high, whereas the bar for what is included on the extreme right wing is comparatively low. Yeah, the bar seems to be right-wing extremism is when they want to stop Islamism, which was supposed to be our job, but you know. By way of illustrating his point, in 2023, the unit identified viewing habits which it believed indicate that someone could be susceptible to far-right views. These included Michael Portillo's Great British Railway Journeys, The Thick of It, and Yes Minister, all on the BBC. Works by Shakespeare, Chaucer, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Milton were described as key texts of interest to white nationalists and supremacists. Remember in the Amelia game, they also said that wanting to find out more information about a situation is considered right-wing extremism. You're not allowed to ask questions. Asking questions is problematic. Mr. Portillo, a former Tory minister, reacted to the leaked report by saying, "Why are senior officials, at least, not trying to stop this stuff before it pops up and embarrasses ministers in the government?" Security expert Professor Anthony Glees responded, "The unit that produced this report is called RICU. It's based in the Home Office, but it's in that kind of shadowy area between what the Home Office does and what the security service MI5 ought to be doing, or what the special branch used to do before it was turned into the counter-terrorist police force." The unit has also cited work by the Spectator journalist Rod Little and Douglas Murray as contributing to negative views about Islam and Muslims via the pages of mainstream publications. It also cited a book on the Rotherham rape gangs and work by The Mail on Sunday journalist Peter Hitchens, and a RICU document from 2019 described former cabinet minister Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg as being among figures associated with far-right sympathetic audiences and Brexit. Sir Jacob accused RICU of wasting effort on elected politicians, scandalously diverting resources from evildoers. When Defense Secretary Dan Jarvis was asked about the unit last year, he was security minister at the time, and its claim that the scandal of grooming gangs was being exploited by the far right, he said, "Many documents are produced across government that are not implemented and do not constitute government policy." A Home Office spokesman said RICU provides analysis on extremist use of propaganda and exploitation of the internet to inform the UK's counter-terrorism system. "We cannot comment on its operating systems, or on its operations." It's like, we already all knew that this existed, but it's always nice when they put it in black and white text, because maybe there are still some people who have not been brainwashed enough who can be shown this and understand exactly what's happening.